Good afternoon, proletariat! Welcome to Turbo Tuesday. Here at MBT Industries, we are constantly innovating our way to the Yugist revolution. The working duelists of the world can't be led by just anyone, so before we can begin disassembling the oppressive metagame, we need to locate the boss to end all bosses, combing through 20 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! History in the process. As always, we'll give any fledgling leader of the Vanguard a quick once-over, a chance to prove themselves, and a performance review that will determine if they'll be called back to the next round of interviews, or if they'll need some effect adjustment in our re-education facility. Today we have a card that seriously has no reason to exist whatsoever. Honestly, what is the point of this? How does it help its archetype? What is it for? Well, I'm not complaining. Presenting Wattfox. Before we check out today's corporate stooge, however, a word about our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck, the best online site for database searching, deck building, and strategy articles, all conveniently located at www.ygoprodeck.com. Now let's take a look at that resume. If this card is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or card effect, your opponent cannot special summon a monster or activate spells, traps, spell trap card effects, or monster card effects for the rest of the turn. Jesus, it's like Colder Wave. No specials, no spells, no traps, and no monster effects whatsoever. If we can consistently get this effect off, you might be overqualified. Now, of course, anything that requires your opponent to take a voluntary action is going to be pretty low on the scale of playability. But with a little help from Union Carrier and Artifact Durandal, we can change the condition our opponent walks into a set monster before activating any of their effects to our opponent does literally anything. To accomplish that, we're going to need 4 monsters on our side of the field, and 2 of them have to be level 5. For the purposes of consistency, we'll play with a deck designed around you, though it's possible you'd fit into Sidra or Chronomaly natively. So with that, let's send our leader to the Edo Pro ladder. So it's time for our performance review, and oh my god, is that Spiral? Some people just don't know when to give up. We'll lead with a copy of Agent of Creation Venus, summoning a mystical shine ball from deck before we activate Pot of Disparity. Now what we're looking for here is pretty much exactly, well, a Mechanite Purple Nightfall. We'll go ahead and take that sucker, adding it to the hand, before Link summoning a copy of Union Carrier. Next, we'll set an instant fusion, so we have a zone for Purple Nightfall, then activate Purple Nightfall's effect for a Blue Sky. We'll activate Blue Sky's effect, summoning it from our hand, before instant fusioning into a Panzer Dragon, making a Durandal, and equipping our own Union Carrier with a Wattfox. We'll pass it back to our opponent, and with the inability to activate any effects, they go for the HFD. Alright, well, fine. At least we get to preserve the material on our Durandal. We'll get back our copy of Purple, should be a hop, skip, and a jump to lethal. We'll summon Photon Slasher and the Tricky so we can go into Unicorn and access code Talker. We will access code that set monster, and then we'll access code the back row as well. I don't foresee any problems unless, of course... Oh god. Oh my god, we can't even negate Rescue's effect. While we normally could, we need a spell trap in order to activate Durandal's effect. They'll go into a drone, drone's effect triggers, we walk over it, but they get a turn. Oh no. Okay, we'll add a Blue Sky to hand and hope for the best. We'll pass back to our opponent who for turn draws a Rhoda. They're going to activate Rhoda, and I guess this is as good a time as any to fire off the Durandal, shuffling it back. This also obfuscates the top of our deck, but unfortunately they hit it blind anyway. We are playing about 30 monsters, so it really doesn't matter. They'll go for Double Helix for a copy of Quick Fix, triggering the effect of Quick Fix, and not a once per turn, by the way. I am so glad this deck isn't around anymore. They'll go into a copy of Nightmare Unicorn and activate its effect, spinning back our copy of Access Code Talker before reborning a Scythe. They'll activate Big Red to get a copy of Quick Fix to their side of the field, activating its effect again for a drone before they make an Appaloosa and activate Nadir. They'll go ahead and activate the graveyard effect of Entis, wiping our board, then special summoning an Ecclesia, activating her effect in order to add to hand a copy of Fleur de Lis, who they will then summon. They'll proceed to the battle phase, and wow, this is just extremely embarrassing. Well, we're back, and just what did the Fox say? Let's consult our super scientific metrics above. I'm giving this Voltic Vulpine a 3 in terms of consistency. We were able to guarantee he made it on field, and all it took was playing the worst deck in the history of time. I'm giving this weird Watt a 3 in terms of investment. We played it in a silly deck full of garbage, but it's not outside the realm of possibility that it's playable elsewhere. I'm giving this Foxy Lady a 2 in terms of payoff. It does prevent the opponent from doing anything proactive, but there's a lot of really powerful trap cards in this format. It doesn't prevent your opponent from setting 5. That said, my final verdict is, and I can't believe I'm saying this, a return interview for Wattfox. Jillian, make sure we've got enough surge protectors.